Nothing less than 75 people overruling the wishes of 78,000 people. And you're going to cut off debate? Give me a break. Is this a circus?
Republican lawmakers in the state of Tennessee are showing their lust for fascism as they have now expelled 2 duly elected Democratic lawmakers that joined in with peaceful protesters in their pursuit to end gun violence. And this Democratic lawmaker had something to say about it.
Grow up! If you can't sit through a conversation or a debate on something no less than expelling a colleague, grow up! Get out of here! You don't belong here!
Dubbed the Tennessee Three, these lawmakers joined in solidarity with the gun control protesters in a non-violent demonstration in the wake of the Nashville Covenant School shooting that killed 3 children and 3 adults. And ironically, Republicans are calling this an insurrection and decided to expel 2 of the 3 lawmakers. Can you guess who?
Why were those 2 expelled and you weren't?
Well, I think it's pretty clear I'm a 60-year-old white woman, and they are 2 young black men. In listening to the questions and the way they were questioned and the way they were talked to, I was talked down to as a woman, mansplained to, but it was completely different from the questioning that they got.
Now, that comes as no surprise, but just watch as one of the expelled lawmakers, Justin Jones, calls out Republicans' double standard.
Let's talk about expulsion. For years, one of your colleagues who was an admitted child molester sat in this chamber. No expulsion. One member sits in this chamber who was found guilty of domestic violence. No expulsion. We had a former speaker sit in this chamber who is now under federal investigation. No expulsion. We have a member still under federal investigation. No expulsion. Since you're trying to put us on trial, I'll say what you're really putting on trial is the state of Tennessee.
Notably, these expulsions happened after the 3 lawmakers were already stripped of their committee assignments. So they were already punished for breaking decorum. But that wasn't good enough for Republicans, as Justin Jones explains.
So 3 of us lawmakers who stood with our constituents demanding that they take action, and here the thousands of people gathered on Thursday talking about the crisis of mass shootings. We've been kicked off our committees as representatives elected by our constituents. Each of us represents 78,000 people, and our people are being silenced because they're kicking us off committees. They're threatening to take a vote to expel us today. Our member ID badges have been shut off. Our representative ID badges have been shut off. And this is not what democracy looks like. You know, we are elected to serve our constituents, and I'm the youngest Democratic lawmaker here, the most diverse district, and by shutting me down, they're shutting down the voice of my constituents.
Now, I'm fair, so put the shoe on the other foot. If these were conservative protesters that were joined by 3 Republican lawmakers that were engaging in nonviolent protest for a cause they cared about by breaking decorum, then yeah, I'd be irritated, but I would have no right to call for the expulsion, the elimination of the voice of that district by that member. That's authoritarian and anti-democratic. I would have no right to eliminate that voice.
In a country that was built on a protest. You who celebrate July 4th, 1776, pop fireworks and eat hot dogs. You say to protest is wrong because you spoke out of turn, because you spoke up for people who are marginalized. You spoke up for children who won't ever be able to speak again. You spoke up for parents who don't want to live in fear. You spoke up for Larry Thorne, who was murdered by gun violence. You spoke up for people that we don't want to care about.
This reveals the hypocrisy of the modern day Republican Party at large. And it just shows that they do not care about you or your children, despite constant shouting of, protect the children! Let me ask you, how many kids have died from a drag show? How many kids have died from a drag queen story hour? How many kids have died from reading a book about gay penguins? None. Now, how many kids have died just this year, kids under the age of 11, have died from gun violence? 71. How many kids under the age of 11 have been injured? 157. How many teenagers have been murdered in school? 399. How many have gotten injuries? 969. Then why is it that the Republican Party in states like Tennessee are spending their time passing bills to eliminate and restrict drag shows or LGBTQ people's representation, when in reality what they should be protecting are the lives of their own children from gun violence? They want to protect the children from gay people, but not guns. Their hypocrisy is deafening. My name is Scott Johnson. You can find more of me on my YouTube, The Gays, which is in the description box below. You should totally go and check it out. You can also find me on TikTok, which is also in the description. It's pretty awesome. And most importantly, do not forget to smash that subscribe button to The Breakdown. You know you want to.